The left ribs are going back and up. Look at the left elbow going back. Feel the left shoulder going back. Notice how the body is being turned toward the left. From one point of view, it looks like a body is going right, treating it like a wheel. The right leg is really thrusting into the left hip. So that's a core path number 4, because the right leg is the dominant leg generating the thrust, but the action is taking place diagonally to the other side. The feeling is, again, of getting longer without force, going up the spiral staircase. Once you're on the spiralic path, everything in that path is connecting and communicating. There is effort, but nothing forced. You can reverse the head movement for additional variations. You breathe with the movement. In this case, the turn is to the right by crossing the leg over. This is another asana variation. The right hand is back, so it will turn the spine because the right leg is turning back, using the core turning path feature. Both the 3 and the 4 turning and spiraling paths are now working together. Observe and feel the lengthening along the spine from head to hip. You can hold the posture and add that extra stretch. Rest into the posture, breathe into it. Here's the other side, turning the other way. Changing into the other direction, the left hip is now going back. And so the posture increases from simplicity to complexity, but the paths are always the same, like the chords in music. Notice how the left hip is going back. The intention here is to release the tension. And now, for the ultimate linking. Gentle turning, capturing the spiralic motion up through the spine, moving vertically. Taking the time to notice, sense, and find the direction. The head turning again to the opposite side. Adding another variation, another twist. Now, further complexities. Here's an example of a posture done a little bad as she pulled the left shoulder forward, but now it is going back. Now we come to another level. Get the feeling of that spiralic uplift moving through the spine. And now the arms together. The further advanced posture where the arms and hands become like a hoop, but in back, linked. And yet the head and spine can move. It is not frozen. If you hold it and tighten it, you will have a rigid spine. You'll just build up a lot of shortened tissue. Here, the flow remains. Rest. Let the experience be absorbed. Our resting posture is an awareness posture, an awakening posture rather than a sleeping posture. The awareness allows the nervous system to accept what is good, what felt better. And then there is rest. Again, using the same position, we now move into the forward bending aspect of these postures. We have a front path As you reach forward with the right arm, the left hip, that is a number 2 path. The ribs are going up to the left, therefore we have a 3. Using your hands, you can accentuate this movement and feel the turn through the ribs and spine. So now the ribs turning allows the shoulder to go back. No strain. And now we can check it out by reaching forward with both arms, as the body has a better sense of how to reach forward without forcefully stretching back muscles. Notice again, this is a posture of combined paths, as most postures are. Here's the lateral bend. This is a side bend, very clearly indicated. The entire left side is now lengthened. You can hold the posture, breathe into it. Here is the movement seen from the other side. Take your time to become familiar with the body's directional motion. The forward bend looks primarily like a number 2 forward bend path. And then adding the other paths, the turn, the left shoulder coming forward, the right shoulder coming back, but a lateral bend also on the right side, which is getting longer. The whole back of the left leg has gotten longer, all up through the left hip and over to the right side of the ribs. If you're ready to do this next posture, you can place the leg back. You should feel no pain in the knee. Notice that this allows for another forward reach with the left hip coming forward. The posture can feel quite comfortable, but if there are any problems, always start with the easier one. Here again, the turn, the left shoulder going back, the right coming forward, and the lateral bend on the left side. Even your intention needs paths. Intention without paths never completes and never fulfills. The rhythm pulse of muscles lengthening and then contracting is what makes a movement feel functional, flowing, satisfying, calm. Then rest, complete the body scan, sensing, again, any differences. Here we have the standing posture again, using aspects of the tree poses and other asanas. You can bend to one side and the other, but to do so, you will use, again, that core primary path number 5. Notice the weight is on the right leg and the lengthening is on the left. The weight is on the left leg, the lengthening is on the right. So even the side bend looks like a coil spring expansion and flow. Here is a 6. The weight is on the left leg, that is the thrusting leg. The lengthening side is the left and the bend is to the right. That's the differentiation between primary core path 5 and 6. In other words, you can side bend in different ways. And these are the main highways of side bending. Again, look at the elevation through the ribs as best as it can be seen. It is much better felt. Expansion, continuous. All movements lead to expansion and elevation, the keys to good posture. Here's an example of a triangulated pose. It's the same configuration. The weight is on the right leg. The shortening path or contracting side is the right, and the lengthening side is the left. You may recognize this asana. We're increasing the angle, maintaining the flow, allowing the lengthening. Notice how the arm now joins in and follows the same line, a continuous line from the left hand to the left heel. Dropping down into the right, a deeper bend. Now we have a complete lateral motion. It is really a core pathway number 5 posture, biomechanically speaking. A little turn. Notice the little variations taking place now, the wave-like motions of a rotation. The left hip going back and forward, the left shoulder moving back and forward, the ribs moving back and forward, everything moving in sync. The posture is now done with the number 6 path being used. The weight is now on the right leg, and the lengthening is on the right side. There's some resonance, so the body is free to move. And at the end of that lengthening, the arm reaches up toward the ceiling, and one reaches down toward the floor, which is really out to the side in both instances. And now we have another of the triangulated poses. You have to be careful here as an example of the posture done wrong, distorted. So you have to follow the path. If you follow the path, you can see that the shoulder and the arm configure with everything. Otherwise, parts are distorted and are not integrated. That's the danger zone. In this series, you are going to see a very active path number 2, strengthening.
Okay.
The lift is achieved by pushing through the feet, drawing up through the deep pelvis, and allowing an arc-like motion to take place. Now increasing the posture by extending the legs, but still maintaining the flow, the balance. Nothing held. Greater strengthening through greater lengthening. No freezing. Continue the movement, breathing into it, reaching up with the arms. Let's follow that sequence again. As you see, the moving back and forth indicates there's flexibility and flow in the movement. Here's a more advanced version of it. Bending the legs and straightening. And resting. Hands and knees. This is an interesting series of a cat-like motion through the mid-back, where you lengthen and drop by bringing the spine up, lengthening, and then dropping the spine the other way, contracting and lengthening the front, just like the cat. We will now add some turns to the movement and side bends. You notice the ear is following the feet or legs. That's a side bend feature. But then increasing the rotation, sitting back, turning the other way, the shoulders turning, and coming into a cobra. We have flowing cobra. Here all the paths are coming into play. This is a beautiful combination of turning, side bending, sitting back, extending. And resting back into the sitting posture with easy breathing, doing the body scan from this place. In the standing postures, you can do the wonderful series known as the Sun Salute. You'll see the path 1 here and path 2 going into the forward bend. The lunge posture looks like a path 1 and 2. There's actually a bit of a turning in there, but you don't see it. Notice the shoulders dropping down. In the downward facing dog, the core front path number 2. Dropping down into the cobra, the path number 1. Again, the path number 2, downward facing dog or inverted triangle. The lunge posture, arms going up if you choose. There are many varieties of the Sun Salute. Forward bend, and finishing again with the fully extended back posture. Resting.